These restaurant prices out there have gone completely insane. Check this out. This is the kids menu for Benihana. We got chicken and steak and shrimp, 200 calories, $27.50. I know Benihana is not a cheap restaurant by any means, but the last time I went there, which was about 4 years ago for my 23rd birthday, I ordered the same thing I had always ordered, which was the Splash and Meadow, steak and shrimp, which at the time, adult portion was $27. Fast forward to today, 4 years later, official inflation over that time less than 20%. That same exact meal is now $53, and that doesn't include the chicken fried rice, which now is an additional $8 on top of that. So $60 for the same dish I used to get for $27. Where now you literally get 150 calories worth of steak and shrimp for $27.50. Good food, but I'm done. I have a family of 4. I got 2 little kids. I'm not ordering $30 kids menu items for. If you add my wife and I's entrees, and if we got drinks, you're talking $250 to go to Benihana. And look, guys, the crazy part is we're there on a Saturday night and the place was like a ghost town. Unfortunately, I think places like this are literally pricing themselves out of business. It's just not worth it anymore.
Gratuity is not a tip to your server. We don't own the gratuity. Most restaurants/lounges take half or sometimes all of it. The other half that remains is normally pooled and split amongst everybody that worked that shift. Grat is grat. A tip is a tip. What don't be clicking? Well, to me, what's not clicking is how you intentionally take a job that you know pays you $2.17 an hour and that you have to rely on the rest of your income by begging for charity from strangers. Now, when I go out to eat at like sit-down restaurants, I always tip. I was just raised to, give a proper tip. But y'all are really, really getting out of hand. First of all, gratuity is a tip. Whoever told you that, you need to go fight them. Your job is stealing from you. You got 99 problems and I'm not one of them. It's not the customer, it's you and your employer. Look, we try to tip y'all. We try to make things work. But y'all just keep demanding more and more and more and more and more. And y'all are asking us as customers for things that we just can't give you. We're pouring from an empty cup already. You work at a restaurant. You know where all the sharp objects are. Go grab some of them and demand that your employer pay you a proper salary. You gotta split tips and you acting like that's my problem. I didn't do that to you. Get a new job. Unionize.
Does anyone else remember like 2008, 2009 when you go out to dinner with your family on a Friday night and no matter where you went, the place would be like slammed? You'd pull up to a Bennigan's or an Applebee's or a TGI Fridays and minimum, there'd be a line out the door, minimum 30, 45-minute wait, no questions asked, every time. They'd hand you one of those buzzer things, you'd take it, you go wait outside, and you'd wait. You just sit with your family and chat for 30 to 45 minutes. Most of the time, not that long, but it was just part of the game. That's what you did. You waited. There was a line. Fast forward to current times, not anymore. I don't know, man. I had my high school reunion a couple weeks ago. We went downtown on a Saturday night, a group of 12 of us, no reservations, no plans. We walked to the first restaurant we saw and got sat immediately, right away. A table of 12. That shouldn't happen. I don't know if this is just a Florida thing. Everyone tells me it's dead season, but it's been dead season for 5 years at this point. I think restaurants are just dying. I don't think people want to drop $100 for a group of 2 on just mid food anymore. The tipping's gotten crazy. I think the food's mid. I think people just don't want to go out. There's Uber Eats. I think there's a lot of reasons. The music's too loud, and this is coming from a live musician. Plus, cooking at home is fire. I don't know. That's just what I'm seeing. Any bartenders, servers, hosts want to chime in? Are you guys seeing the same thing? Am I crazy? What do you think?
We are experiencing a complete decline in chain sit-down restaurants like TGI Fridays, Outback, Red Lobster. All of those are losing tons of money, closing lots of different locations, and it's not just about food. I want to explain how this trend reveals something really profound about how our relationship with community is changing and likely getting worse. Casual dining chains, places where middle-class families could walk in without a reservation and have a meal at a relatively affordable price, have been in a steady decline throughout the 21st century. Last year alone, I think TGI Fridays and Red Lobster filed for bankruptcy. And this isn't necessarily just about Americans spending less money at restaurants. We're actually still spending the same amount as ever, studies have shown, but we're actually there we're seeing trends where people are buying food made by restaurants and eating it elsewhere. So like the rise of these specific kind of to-go chains like Sweetgreen, Kava, through delivery apps, through drive-throughs, takeout services, those have become ingrained habits, and those have risen at the sacrifice of these other chain sit-down restaurants. And these restaurants have traditionally provided a third space for a lot of communities. You know, these social environments kind of separate from your home or your work, where communities can form, social capital develops. Maybe you're meeting people at these places. Maybe you're just having more bonding time with your family. And the decline of these restaurants represents not just a changing in dining preferences, but a fundamental shift in like how we're building connections. Like if most of the way that we consume food is walking into a place, grabbing a to-go bag, walking back to our apartment alone and eating it, or just getting it delivered straight to our door, that radically is different in the way that we interact with other people and build community and are just outside of the home. When you go out to a restaurant and sit down, yeah, it can be a little bit more annoying. Sometimes the food's delayed. You know, you obviously have to interact with a lot of different people, like the waiter, you know, the hostess, maybe the people sitting around you. But that is building kind of weak community ties that can actually end up being very strong and good for your mental well-being, compared to ordering delivery where you're just clicking a bunch of things on a phone and someone comes and drops the food off. Half the time you don't even see the delivery person, and it's a very isolated experience, and it can erode our feeling of community around us. And another piece is that, yes, people are still eating out, but when these kind of more affordable chains become priced out, certain groups of people, like middle and lower income people, will eat out less if the only other option is more expensive dining options. Something I also want to add about the rise of apps is that we all have a diminished capacity now for sustained, uninterrupted engagement. Like we are constantly distracted due to social media, due to all the notifications on our phones, and the time of a sit-down meal feels increasingly costly in the market of digital distraction. Like for a lot of people, they cannot sit for an unsustained amount of time and eat a meal. Like they just have to have their phone kind of with them. They have to be watching something at the same time that they're eating. And so what is so significant about all this is that it accelerates the autonomization of social experience. So when meals become about individual consumption rather than a shared social ritual, which historically they have been a shared ritual, you typically are eating with other people, we are losing very important opportunities for connection that our psychological well-being really depends on. And like, obviously, like some of these chains, like whether you like the food or not, it's about recognizing how changes in consumption patterns reflect and reinforce shifts in how we experience community. And as these communal spaces disappear, we need to be intentional about creating new opportunities for genuine human connection. And if you're interested in how consumer behavior, money psychology interacts with cultural and social issues, I write about this all the time in my newsletter. You can sign up in the link in my bio.
Nearly 40% of Americans are eating out less than last year, and it's crushing restaurants nationwide. A new YouGov study reveals the harsh reality. 8 in 10 Americans say restaurant prices have risen noticeably in the past 12 months. And the result? Well, diners are sharing meals or skipping drinks or even staying home more often. Restaurant owner Derek Kitchen in Salt Lake City knows this struggle firsthand.
Inflation itself really took a lot out of us, and then the tariffs kind of brought us to our knees, to be honest with you.
And it's the same with Ying Nance, owner of Chubby Baker.
Cost of goods has gone up 35%, and payroll has gone up like 39%.
Immigration policies, well, they're making things worse. Arizona restaurant owner Adriana Zapata is seeing customers and workers just disappear.
Right after the election, we saw a decrease in in-store traffic. Right away, the customer base dropped.
And this matters beyond restaurants. Consumer spending drives 2/3 of our economy. Major chains like Chipotle and McDonald's, well, yeah, they're feeling it too. So as the holiday season approaches, will you be dining out to support your local restaurants? Let us know in the comments below.
I don't think restaurants are going to last too much longer. And the reason why I say that is because people are refusing to eat out. Restaurants ain't the same no more. The price is too expensive. And the reason why it's too expensive is because of corporate greed. You don't get the same customer service that you used to get. And the waiters always got an attitude now. And half of the time, you got to find the waiters. And it shouldn't have to be like that. I miss when everything was so simple. And people are starting to realize that. And the food is not the same no more. And it's a crazy world out here. People can't afford to tip. But waiters still want you to tip them. Even though you can't afford to tip them. So a lot of people are choosing to go to the grocery store and get groceries. Even though grocery prices have went up too. But they rather get groceries than eat at a restaurant. Just imagine you go back and forth to the restaurant faithfully a couple times a week. You're going to end up spending $200 or $300 just on food alone. And it don't make sense. That's why a lot of restaurants are becoming empty. People not buying it no more. And their prices is not how they used to be. So in order for people to still buy in this economy, they're going to have to make the prices go down. And I know it's something that they really don't want to do, but they're going to have to. Because if they don't, I don't think it's going to last more than 2 years. That's what I think. So let me know what y'all think. When is the last time y'all went to a restaurant? Did y'all have a good experience? Or was it a bad experience? And I just don't understand. Why does the price continue to go up? Why? Why does this economy continue to collapse? That's the questions everybody wants to know. So that's why people are refusing to eat out. They tired of paying them high prices. The restaurants better get it together. Because if they don't, they in for a rude awakening. And that's why people are refusing to eat out. So let me know, do you still eat out? If you do, leave it in the comments. If you don't, leave it in the comments. And I'm going to see y'all on the next one. This is crazy. Peace.